Let's take a look at our top selections for Dan Illman, Mike Beer, race number 10 at Pimlico on Preakness Saturday, one of the major co-features of the afternoon. It's the Grade 2 Black-Eyed Susan Stakes, going 1.1 miles for 3-year-old fillies. Before we get to the analysis, remember to head on over to drf.com/Preakness for your Preakness Day betting strategies, full card selections, wager recommendations for the Preakness, the Black-Eyed Susan, and the entire stellar card at Pimlico on Saturday. Here's the field for the Black-Eyed Susan. $250,000 is the purse. We're going 1.1 miles. There is a deserving favorite in here, Mike. The number 5, Bonnie South, getting some significant class relief after chasing the likes of Swiss Skydiver, Speech, and Venetian Harbor in her last 2.
Yeah, big class relief for this horse over a distance that she probably is really going to like, that some of the others could be questionable at. And as we'll show you when we get to the pace projector in a minute, a horse who likes to sit from off the pace, who should have plenty to run at in the stretch.
Timeform US, as Mike alluded to, has this race a red bar situation as we take a look at the Timeform US pace projector. The 7, Mizenbeau, expected to go to the early lead. She's coming off of a gate-to-wire win on Tapeta. Landing Zone is stepping up in class with a little bit of speed as well. Even the horse down towards the inside, Project Whiskey, when she breaks, she can show speed. And I think they want to take advantage of the inside post with her. But do you really think the pace is going to be blazing?
I don't know if it'll be blazing, but I can see them really going at least a more than a sensible pace early in this race, Dan. I mean, I think there are several horses in here who want to be forward in these races, and we'll see what happens with Project Whiskey. I'm not going to sit here and suggest that they're going to gun this horse from the gate, but she has good position on the inside, and she has shown since they've stretched her out that she likes to be forward in her races. I don't see why they wouldn't come out of there running, especially after that last race where she got too far away in there and didn't run at all.
Yeah, the combination of a fast pace and this demanding 1 1/8 distance could really work well for horses coming from the back of the pack, horses like Bonnie South. Project Whiskey won the Delaware Oaks 3 starts back. She pulled off a shocker at 38-1 that day, and she showed a race really wasn't a fluke when she came back and ran fine in the Monmouth Oaks. Last time out, she was a little bit far back early. That was kind of weird to see.
Yeah, I think it probably worked against her too. And she has a lot to prove against horses like this, Dan, but just based off that last race, I got to believe they're going to try and get forward with her again in this race.
Truth Hurts won the first 2 starts of her career for our good, close personal friend, Chad Summers. Both of those races were sprinting. They ran her in the Bison City last time out. She got a stakes placing that day. She's a likable filly who's caught a tough spot, but it's going to get the right setup, and she's bred to get the distance.
Yeah, I do like this horse. I thought her first 2 career starts were actually both pretty good. I think this is a tough race for her, Dan. She has improved since beginning her career. In those first 2 races where I really did think she ran well, I don't think she's improved enough to beat a field like this one. But this filly's pretty good. She's going to be a huge price.
So Darn Hot, 2 starts back, ran away and hid from a maiden group at Belmont, going a 1-turn mile and a 16th. George Weaver shipped her down to Delaware. Might not have been thrilled at catching a sloppy track that day. Landing Zone, also in good form, got the jump on her. She ran okay, and she's got some upside potential.
Yeah, I agree with that. I liked her win 2 starts back at Belmont. I thought she ran well that day. I actually felt like she ran deceptively well in her career debut, going a 1-turn mile at Gulfstream on the dirt. And last time, that race was not bad at all, Dan. Landing Zone seemed to really like that wet track, and it was just in front of this horse the entire way. But So Darn Hot never stopped running through the stretch. I think this is a dangerous horse in here.
I'm a big fan of the 4 Dream Marie. She's multiple graded stakes placed. She's going to get the pace setup that she wants. I just wonder if she's off form right now, and they've gone to the well maybe once or twice too often. She ran okay in the Delaware Oaks when upset by Project Whiskey. I thought she was really disappointing in the Monmouth Oaks, and last time out, she simply had no chance.
Yeah, she had no chance in the Kentucky Oaks last time. You're right. Her form prior to that was pretty good, and she can get the right trip in this race. I thought she'd have to improve to beat this field, but maybe she can do it.
Bonnie South showed a lot of ability earlier this year. When she won the Fairgrounds Oaks, I thought, well, she could be a Kentucky Oaks type of filly. Then 2020 happened. She ran in the Ashland against Speech and Venetian Harbor. First start off the break. You know, it was a tough spot. She ran okay. And then this Alabama, she just caught Swiss Skydiver going 1.25 miles. And Swiss Skydiver, we'll see later on in the afternoon in the Preakness. She's on the lead. Bonnie South, we see in the pink Juddmonte silk. She changes leads right here, and she's going to be very game to get up for second. This 1.125 miles, I think, is perfect for her. This drop in class is perfect for her. This pace scenario might be very good for her. She just ticks every box except for price.
Yeah, there's just a lot to like about her in this race. And I say that as someone, you like this horse a lot more than I did earlier in the year. You were right about her. She's just good. And you know what? She ran fine in the Alabama last time. You could see in the replay that she was never going to win that race. She probably didn't even run the second best race, even though she got second in there. But she just stayed all the way to the end, and she will stay in this race. If there's pace in front of her, she'll come running at it, and she might just be the best horse.
Number 6, Sharp Star, is a New York bred trying open company for the first time, but she's raced at 1.125 miles, and she did pretty well. Let's watch last time out. The Fleet Indian at Saratoga going 1.125 miles. She didn't break very well in here. This was not the cleanest trip in the world. We see her on the outside, and she's trying to get into it with making sense. I thought all in all, this was a pretty game performance.
Yeah, she has that closing running style that I guess is going to fit this race really well. Obviously, she's going to have to get a lot faster to be competitive with these horses. We'll see if she can do it. She always had some potential going shorter earlier in her career, Dan. I wasn't sure that she was going to stretch out, but she has stretched out pretty effectively lately for a very good trainer.
Mizenbeau, the number 7, raced, I believe, on Queen's Plate Day at Woodbine. And on that day, it seemed you wanted to be on the lead. You wanted to be near the rail on the Tapeta. And, well, Mizenbeau checked both of those boxes. Let's watch the Bison City Stakes. She got to the lead. She got to the rail. I do like the way she's striding away from this field. I'm not sure this is the greatest field in the world, but Mizenbeau did it the right way, and she's got dirt form. She's won on dirt. The last time she raced on dirt, she took on eventual Kentucky Oaks winner She Dares the Devil. I do have concerns about her going 1.125 miles. When you look at her, she's not the most physically imposing filly in the world. I just hope maybe they leave her alone a little bit on the front end, and this time form US pace projector doesn't materialize.
Yeah, I guess she is going to need that because it does feel like she wants to be forward. I do believe that she's really improved. And, you know, maybe the synthetic had something to do with that. But I don't know. There's, you know, it could just be that she's finding herself right now late in her 3-year-old campaign. And that certainly is far from impossible. She ran really well last time. You already know that she can handle dirt. We'll see if she can get the right trip.
I think the worry is, you know, the bias moved her up last time. It wasn't even a synthetic surface or moving to Woodbine. Hopeful Growth is the number 8. She ran on the Kentucky Oaks. She wasn't going to win that race. I thought she was very game to win the Monmouth Oaks after she fairly well bombed in the Delaware Oaks. So maybe she's a bit of an in-and-outer, but this filly earned a figure 2 starts back that she can build off of. And if she does build off of it, she can easily crack the exotics at a decent price.
Yeah, she could. She's a dangerous horse in this race because she has that race 2 back. She has the allowance win at Tampa going 7 furlongs where she won that race very easily as well. I don't know what happened. You know, I'm perfectly fine to give her a pass for the Oaks last time. I don't know what happened at Delaware back on July 4th. But if you can get past that race, she makes some sense in here.
The 9 Miss Marissa's really woken up since being allowed to stretch out around 2 turns on dirt this form cycle for a good trainer in Jimmy Ryerson. We're going to watch her most recent race at the Spa at 1.125 miles, and she was able to get to the early lead. You see she's a big price, and she just keeps on trucking, and she's going to be a big price again in the Black Eyed Special. Don't let that deter you. She wins at big prices. Her maiden at 18-1, this race at 20.
Yeah, I mean, she's pulled off a couple of upsets already. The one thing to keep in mind with her, Dan, too, and she has improved in her last couple of starts, she's another horse who wants to be on the early lead. All 3 of her career wins right up there, either setting or contesting the pace. The pace projector doesn't even have her up there with the leaders early in this race, but that's where she's going to be if she's going to be effective.
Landing Zone, the number 10, was claimed by Maryland's leading trader Claudio Gonzalez for $25,000 last year. This filly's been in the exacta 12 of 17. She brings a 3-race win streak to the party, including this score last time out at Delaware over a sloppy track. Now, she handles a sloppy track very, very well, but she took over at just the right time in this race, opened up at just the right time, and she's never been threatened. She's now paired up by her tops of 85 in her last 2. I wonder how much upside is there. This is going to be remarkably enough her 18th lifetime start.
Yeah, probably not much upside, but she's the two best races of her life are the last two. That's so darn hot, finishing a good second to her there. The thing about that race, Dan, is I do think she liked the wet track, but I'll tell you something, that was a pretty fast pace. And she kept after it all the way, took over on the turn, and never stopped through the stretch. She ran really well last time.
And there's a chance she could be attending a similar pace in here over a horse that may not want to go that far. There's a chance Landing Zone for perhaps even just a brief moment is in front in here and gives you a thrill. I think she drifts a bit off the 6-1 morning line. Perfect Alibi, in my opinion, is the key to this race. And if the blinkers wake her up, she can easily win. She was a very, very good 2-year-old. But in watching her, you could tell she was a growthy, professional, precocious 2-year-old. And you were going to wonder what happened at 3 when they started to catch up to her. She hasn't exactly improved this year, although her last race was okay, going 2 turns in the Weber City Miss. Let's watch that race right now. She's down towards the inside. This race is coming off the heels of 2 performances against Gamine off of the layoff. She needed the class relief, and she ran okay. She's down on the inside plugging away. I'm not sure about 1 1/8, but we do know she has a race from last year that puts her in the mix.
Yeah, I mean, at least she finally improved to a new buyer top in that race that we're watching right there, only to a 79. Though the other thing, she was such a good 2-year-old for all those reasons you mentioned. But even so, she just wasn't a fast horse. She never ran a fast race as a 2-year-old. She still has not run a fast race as a 3-year-old. Maybe she does it here, Dan, but I kind of want to see her do it.
We take a look at our top selections for the Black-Eyed Susan Stakes. I don't really have any knocks against Bonnie South. She's the horse to beat, and she's a horse you have to use prominently in any kind of multiple race wager. I'm just going to take a little bit of a flyer with Mizenbeau, who I think did some good things on the dirt, and although she might have been aided by the bias last time out, might be rounding into good form for Norm Cassie.
Yeah, I'm not going to knock taking a shot against Bonnie South in this race. I just thought she was too good, Dan. I thought there were too many things pointing to her. And I just didn't want to bet against her in this race. The other horse for me is the 3, So Darn Hot. I think that horse is going to run well. I just don't know if it's going to be good enough to beat Bonnie South.
Bonnie South weighed the horse to beat. Mike's going there. 5-3, 10-11. I'm going 7-5, 9-11. It is the Grade 2 Black-Eyed Susan, race number 10 at Pimlico on Preakness Saturday. Good luck.